네, 버나드 케인과 함께하는 미국 주식 시간입니다. 그동안 소개해드렸던 종목들 수익률 베스트 탑5 만나보고 오시죠. 네, 버니의 미국 주식 베스트 탑5입니다. 1위부터 5위까지 다양한 종목들이 선정되어 있고요. 최근에 증시가 좀 안 좋다 보니까 상승률이 조금씩 내려가고 있습니다만 1위인 빌닷컴은 여전히 상승률 20%대를 유지해주고 있습니다. 어제도 한 1%가량 떨어지기는 했는데 그래도 여전히 $240 윗선에서 거래 마감하는 모습이고요. 방송일 종가 기준 $199, 어제는 $242에서 거래 마쳤습니다. 현재까지 상승률 21.26% 기록하고 있습니다. 두 번째 종목도 TTD가 계속 부동의 2위를 유지해주고 있습니다. 방송일 종가 $72.78, 어제는 $88 선에서 거래 마쳤고 어제 하루 동안 한 2% 정도 하락세를 보였습니다. 현재까지 그래도 상승률 20%대 유지해주고 있습니다. 3위 종목 스노우플레이크 방송일 종가 $298입니다. 현재까지 상승률 11.1% 기록하고 있습니다. 네 번째 AMN 헬스케어 서비스가 5위에서 4위 자리로 올라왔습니다. 지금 전 세계적으로 바이오 섹터 그리고 헬스케어에 대한 관심이 높다 보니까 AMN 헬스케어 서비스가 조금씩 상승률 올려가고 있는데요. 방송일 종가 $109.35, 현재까지 상승률은 9.6% 기록하고 있습니다. 마지막 종목은 마이크로소프트고요. 지금 현재까지 6.5% 수익률 가져가고 있네요. 네, 버니의 베스트 탑5 종목들 살펴보고 돌아왔습니다. 자, 오늘도 새롭게 종목 살펴보도록 할 텐데 최근에 메타버스가 굉장히 이슈입니다. 전 세계 사람들을 언제 어디서든 만날 수 있는 그런 3D, 4D 메타 플랫폼인데 지금 SNS에서도 이 메타버스 기술을 활용해서 성장 동력을 키우고 있다고 합니다. 이 메타버스의 신드롬에 발맞춰서 기업 사명까지 바꾼 그런 종목이 있는데 바로 이전에는 페이스북이었던 현재는 메타 플랫폼스죠. 티커명은 그대로 FB이긴 한데 지금은 메타로 사명을 바꿨습니다. 이 기업에 대해서도 설명 부탁드리겠습니다.
Well, let's do this. Instead of thinking about how stocks go generally, everybody knows about Facebook, okay, and how they've done and how big they are and all that. Let's have several different things to talk about, okay, because we want to be forward-looking with this. Let's talk about the move into the metaverse and why. Let's talk about rebranding issues from Facebook to Meta. Let's talk about the government concerns because there's some antitrust concerns that they have. And then let's think about when we think about previous and expected stock performance. So how is the stock done and what do we think the stock is going to do? So starting with the metaverse, it's one of the hottest topics now. Think of it as the internet brought to life, or at least rendered in 3D. It's a huge interconnected virtual community where people can meet, work, play using virtual reality headsets, augmented reality glasses, smartphone apps, and other devices. It's an online environment that's much, much richer than what we have now. So everybody has their own version of this. Like there's different people than gaming, shopping. Gucci's got their own meta site right now. People are talking about virtual meetings where you can actually like think you're with the other person. For me, just personally, I've always loved to see new places. I'd love to go to Seoul. I'd love to go to different places in South America. That would be exciting for me because the way I have to do it right now is I go on the internet and I look at pictures or I look at videos and is what it is. It's not rich. So down the road, it could be rich. I could feel like I'm there. We don't know what the whole future is going to bring, but whatever it is, because of the way technology advances, it's going to be so much richer and so much better than what we currently have. Facebook, or Meta as we call it now, has warned that it's going to take 10 to 15 years to develop responsible products for the metaverse. But They're committing $10 billion and thousands of engineers, mostly in Europe, to be able to develop this. But it's hard to define a label to something that hasn't been created yet. And the winners in this race may not even have been incorporated yet. So there are new technologies and trends and applications that we've yet to discover.
네, 메타버스는 아직도 계속해서 성장성이 강한 그런 종목, 그런 필드로 좀 인식이 되고 있는데 얼마나 더 성장할 수 있는지가 참 무섭습니다. 페이스북의 창업자 마크 저커버그가 앞으로 5년 뒤에는 이 페이스북 메타라는 기업이 메타버스 기업으로서 각인되기를 원한다라고 말했는데 특별히 마크 주커버그가 이 SNS를 좀 메타버스 사업으로 돌리려는 그런 이유가 있었을까요?
Well, Zuckerberg's embrace of the metaverse in some ways contradicts a central tenet of its biggest enthusiasts. So there's a lot of people that use Facebook and have been a little bit frustrated with what's going on. And what they've envisioned is they see the metaverse as a way to get away from these tech platforms and like Facebook that assumed ownership of people's accounts and information, photos, playlists, and Facebook traded off of what they gleaned from that data. But to better inform shareholders on its progress and investments in the change, Meta's going to start reporting two distinct business segments. It's going to have their family of apps, which they currently have, and then it's going to have what's called Facebook Reality Labs. Facebook Reality Labs is going to include the spending towards the metaverse. So already the company has laid out its massive plan saying that the Facebook Reality Labs will hit operating income to the tune of $10 billion this year and even more in future years. That's so significant. And that gives Meta a big head start. But the metaverse, it's real, but I think it's probably also overhyped in the short run. And I also think that it's underhyped in the long run. Because if you think about where it started right now, we're worked up about where we're going to be with this whole thing, and we don't quite know all the information that we're going to have as we go forward. So we're probably going to see volatility in between now and then in the stock price performance. Over the coming decades, the metaverse has the potential to become a multi-trillion-dollar part of the world economy. So the next couple, 3 years are going to be critical for all the metaverse aspiring companies like Epic, Roblox, Microsoft, and Facebook. They're all in a race to get to 1 billion users. Whoever brings on 1 billion users first would maybe be the presumed leader initially in setting the standards.
네, 과연 단기적으로 과대평가인지 아니면 장기적으로 과소평가인지는 시간이 흘러봐야 알 것 같습니다. 그래도 한 가지 중요한 점은 페이스북은 이미 너무나 전 세계적으로 유명한 SNS 플랫폼이기 때문에 사용자를 많이 확보했다는 점에서 다른 기업들보다 더 유리하게 출발선에 놓여 있다라고 말해볼 수 있겠습니다. 마크 저커버그 CEO가 이렇게 리브랜딩까지 강행을 했는데 이 페이스북이라는 이미지가 너무 강하다 보니까 메타로서 바뀌기 위해서는 또 다양한 노력이 필요할 것 같습니다. 어떤 리브랜딩에 이렇게 갑자기 리브랜딩을 한 그런 특별한 이유가 또 있을까요?
Rebranding is so important, I think, for Meta right now. If management continues to run Facebook in its present fashion, the two brands are going to be intertwined, and that's going to dilute any brand equity that management wants to build with Meta. So this is a big issue for Facebook or Meta, and it's something that they have to work through. But Zuckerberg genuinely believes that the future of the metaverse, he strongly believes in it. Successful rebranding might deepen more on the success of driving internal motivation than anything else. So by rebranding, it's going to get the company and the people and the users of Meta to be able to refocus themselves and anticipate and expand on that innovation. There are questions about what a successful rebranding and equity into the metaverse looks like. Meta still has untapped potential with the cash-generating power to truly make its metaverse dreams a reality. Will other companies return more given the clear scrutiny that Facebook will carry with it regarding protecting users' privacy? They have not completely addressed that currently. I think that may very well happen. The only reason I'm talking about this is whether the rebranding will influence the stock price performance in the future. Otherwise, I'm really not a big concerner about rebranding. I want to be able to say that people are going to buy this because they now think about the company in a completely different light than what they previously thought about. As an investor, everything revolves around stock price performance.
네, 이미 페이스북은 메타버스 플랫폼이 있습니다. 호라이즌이라고 하는 것인데 아직까지 이를 활용한 행보는 없어 보입니다. 이 메타 플랫폼스가 앞으로 메타버스 대장주로서 어떤 실적을 낼지가 궁금한데 향후에 이 메타버스 플랫폼에 대한 해체 가능성은 없을까요?
Well, I think that possibility for a breakup is very low, and there's several reasons for that. Regardless of what the Justice Department says, and they're the ones that are driving this issue, it would take years and it's going to be hard to prove. Illegal monopolies have two key elements: restraint of trade and interstate commerce. But when we think about a breakup of Facebook, where would this stop? Because we've got other companies that are doing the same, they're in the same kind of boat or whatever we want to call it. Most every company uses Microsoft's operating system. Google is the monopoly gatekeeper to the internet. So whenever you go and you search, you're going to search with the Google search engine. In 2000, where's all this going to end? In 2000, a judge found Microsoft to be an illegal monopoly. Okay, but it was never split up. Microsoft eventually got an appeals court to overturn that. What Facebook owns is data, our data. And it's going to be extremely hard to prove that they have a monopoly on our data and have a breakup of a company that trades in that data. But if the company were broken up, I think the value of its assets would be greater than the current market capitalization. Think of Snap. Facebook tried to buy Snap in 2013, and they wanted to pay $3 billion. The deal didn't happen. Okay? Today, the current market value of Snap is about $80 billion. So it would have been a great investment. I think that Instagram, which they got, and WhatsApp, which they have, inside of their company are currently very undervalued.